Well, Kyle,
Yes, Garrett?
would you like to just kind of ramble for an indiscriminate amount of time about how important it is for long-running games, MMOs, games as a service, online games, to have a player base that hopes for their future?
Do I?
If you're excited for hope, like.
And subscribe.
This is the first time since the new setup where I'm like, we really should just be facing each other, because I just want to talk.
Oh,
I have no idea
me.
what we're gonna do for production values on this video, everybody.
Because you just want to talk to me about
I
it.
just want to. I just want to. I just want to have a conversation.
We can sit back.
I just want to. I just want to talk. I just want to talk. I just want to say things. I got Yo Dre. I got something to say.
All right, tell me about it.
The next line is "fuck the police," which is not what I was going for.
Well, if you're married to them.
We're not. It's okay if you're not married too. That's totally fine.
Well, yeah,
We're not your religious gatekeepers.
More the frequency is what I was concerned about. Set yourself up for success.
Boomer humor would be that there's significantly more fucking before the marriage than after.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the people that raised us that were like, don't you dare do it before marriage.
Yeah, and then
and then you go see one of their comedians, and all they can talk about is the lack of sex post marriage. Yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about. No, we're here to talk about. This is a bigger topic than just one MMO, but it's in my mind because of one MMO, a game we enjoy to play around here called Final Fantasy XIV, the online Final Fantasy. I'm saying like anyone who watches us regularly doesn't understand exactly what we're already talking about. Two of them?
Yeah, there's two online Final Fantasy, so it is worth being clear.
All right. Yeah, the more recent one.
Yes.
The one that makes all the money for Square Enix, and a lot of people believe not enough of that money goes back into the game.
It is known.
It is known. I might also kind of believe that. I don't think it says cut and dry, as a lot of people on the internet.
It's complicated.
It is complicated. It's also obscured because they're never going to be honest with us. We're never going to know. We're never going to know.
Sounds like truth.
Anyway, they previewed their next big patch recently. Patch 7.3 was previewed in the way that they always preview their upcoming patches, through a live letter from the producer that they number, and we all just ignore that and just call it live letter. It's gonna be the next live letter. It's in Japanese. We go to a fan Discord to see a real-time translation. A lot of things gets lost in the sauce. Anyway, this is our first time being current. We have now covered many live letters. This is the first one I feel like anyone really gives a shit about.
In Dawntrail?
Yeah.
In our experience?
In our experience.
In our time being current.
In our time being current. This is the first live letter I feel like anyone really kind of gives a poo about.
There are multiple facets to that. It could be the poo givers are the only ones left.
I think that was true of the last two patches.
Maybe people are feeling the itch, feeling eager to return. Cozy game. The content actually
Maybe. Yeah.
I know they keep their promises over there, but, coming from other games, the content did happen the way they said it was going to happen. They said there was going to be a crafting zone. It happened. They said there was going to be a Cult Crescent field operation. It happened on schedule. So whatever they say next seems like it's all just happening on schedule.
And that's what's interesting to me as someone who has not played 14 since the beginning. I've been here a long time, but I'm still new, if that makes sense. We've been playing 14 for over 3 years now, but in terms of being endgame players, we're still relatively new to it. We've only been through a few patches as endgame players. And don't shoot me, 14 players. As a WoW player, the lack of hype for new stuff in 14 is just bizarre to me.
Well, it's so predictable, right? I feel like those aren't my own words, but everything that was coming. So why would you be hyped about the thing you knew already existed in the past? Which is why in a previous live letter, Yoshi P said there was going to be some surprises, and there actually was one. Duo PvP.
There were two.
What was the other one?
Hats.
Oh yes, hats were a surprise.
Hats, which is a meme if you're a more general gamer. Hats, people being hyped for hats is a big meme. Usually a negative one.
But people want those hats.
I at one point was a Valve fan, and then they stopped making things and selling me hats.
They kept making money.
But yeah, that's kind of what's going on. When a game goes on for a long time, to me, I think it's a bad sign when players just don't talk about what's coming next. live letters would come and go, and there'd be a slight blip on the radar of conversation, and it would very quickly die off. Everyone would just go about their business. And there's really no like hoping for future things. There's not a lot of conversations in the Final Fantasy XIV community about hopes and dreams for ways to improve the game, of things, of bigger steps and bigger improvements down the road, because as you said, it is so predictable.
Which didn't make sense before we were current.
But at the same time, it does still happen, because I remember being at the end of Endwalker, and there was a lot of talk and a lot of theory crafting about what the future of this game would look like, because Endwalker sure seemed like an end, like a real end, like an actual ending to an MMO, which is something that just had never really happened before, with the exception of games that actually ended in the real world, that crashed and burned so hard they had to shut them off, and maybe they gave a shit enough to send it off in style, like The Matrix Online, which had a big ending event where they killed their player populace before actually turning off the servers. Silence from your audience is a scary thing.
Apathy.
It's scary from us. If we put out a video and it doesn't get a lot of comments, we're like, oh, that was a miss. I mean, there's other things too, like views and all kinds of... YouTube shows us all kinds of stuff. But a really big thing is just like, did anyone even care enough to say anything? Even if they didn't like it. The worst thing for us is people just being like, it's better if you love it or even if you hate it, because we can do something with hate. We can actually read some feedback and make some sort of course correction. If we make something so dull, so horribly boring, so misguided, that folks that usually watch us have no reaction at all, that's the worst thing. And that's how I feel Dawntrail has been in its patch cycle up until now. And maybe it's because it's a 7.3 patch and we know that it's going to be the conclusion of the main Dawntrail story arc. Maybe it's because this Savage tier is actually kind of fire. Maybe it helped the game, brought some players back. There's all sorts of things that it could be, but this is the most 14 has resembled an MMO community to me.
Well, we've done some hunts. We've seen the culture of endgame grinding. But second you get into Cult Crescent, ain't nobody waiting for anybody. Ain't there no hold handing or taxi stops on the way. Everyone is out for their own coinage and blood.
Yes, which I'm used to coming from other games, but was a bit of a shock in 14 because my entire experience going through the MSQ and also delving the depths of older content that was missed, like older extremes and older field operations like Baja. The community was now I probably misconstrued the community for our community. That was probably one of the fallacies I made along the way. But I don't know, a lot of people showed up to Baja and I'm assuming they weren't all just like GGers. Maybe they were, I don't know.
There were people in there.
It was a really polite experience. Occult Crescent has come out. It is not a polite experience in there. I got maybe 2 fates done because people were murdering them so fast and I didn't have a riding map yet and everyone was faster than me and I got to a point where I was like, this is pointless. I'm just going to sit in town until a CE shows up, which is like a harder, longer fate if you don't do this type of content or you have no idea or maybe you don't play 14. But I would literally just do, the right thing to do was do nothing until the thing that lasts long enough that I can make it to it in time pops. That was weird. That did not spark joy. Is it fine? Yes. Did I eventually get past it? Totally. Did it give me a bad first impression of field operations when they are current pieces of content in Final Fantasy XIV? Also, yes. On top of that, I don't really care about the story in Occult Crescent, but that's a personal thing.
Yeah, it was something you'll see out of these live letters or certain contents is lore fans reading good. But that doesn't necessarily mean that story content focused people are eating good.
I feel extremely consistent in this because I make fun of FromSoft story fans all the time. There is no story in FromSoft games. It's all lore. There's no story, it's lore, and they're not the same. Story can have lore, but lore is not really story.
And lore can be a puzzle, and that can be part of the fun of solving it.
Yes.
But ultimately, you're going to care about one part more than another, and if they're not currently doing your part for an MMO, you might have a whole expansion where you simply do not care. And that's always tough.
Happens to me in World of Warcraft all the time.
All the time, yeah.
Oh, we're doing orcs again? Guess I don't give a shit.
I got lucky I was into trolls because I was one, so BFA was all right. But
that's part of why I like Legion so much. I love elves.
Yeah.
And the Nightborn. Oh, shit. Their giant city that was also a raid. Oh, that was my jam. Oh, my God. Legion was so freaking good.
It's random chance.
And the same thing happened in 14 with Shadowbringers to Endwalker. It's like, oh, Garrett, you really like Ancients, huh? Well, good. Guess what? 2 entire expansions are going to almost exclusively revolve around ancients and the shenanigans that they got up to.
Hope, despair, undead, living, life. They're great exchanges. And I mean, yeah, that just kind of gets down to like miss on expansion themes sometimes. Yeah. It can be hard to change that topic.
Don't worry, this isn't just going to be a Garrett's not really feeling 14 right now. I bring all the stuff up that I'm not feeling so that I could complement CS3. Sounds like fucking Photoshop. I am so mad that they changed it from CBU3. That sounded more official and doesn't make me think of a time when Adobe products I could depend on them. Like, to cut through what I'm personally going through with right now is that I was so excited for Occult Crescent, and I personally feel like I had to wait way too long for it. I know that it's coming when they said it would come. I think it sucks. I think their plan on when it should come sucks. It's bad. This should be available at the beginning of the expansion. And because of that, because it is something I look forward to, I had a lot of time to have expectations. The fact that it just kind of came out with like a Tonberry that said, like, go do things. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I kind of waited a long time for a whole lot of not much. So I've been kind of like not super into 14. I like raiding right now, and that's pretty much it. And then this live letter happened. And because I was receding into this thought, Kyle, of, oh, 14's not special anymore. It's just another MMO. It was special at one time for me, and I think it was special for a lot of players. I don't think I'm alone in this. I think a lot of players are realizing, oh, it's just another MMO. You know, the updates come and go. I might come and go with those updates, and my sub might come and go with those updates. That's how I played WoW for a decade. After Wrath, I was out. It was no longer this game that I was sub to nonstop. Play a little bit of Kata. I was like, this isn't great. And I unsubbed for like 4 months. Longest break I ever took from the game. Came back, did the final raid, had a good time, got ready for the next expansion. That's kind of what I did forever up to this point, with the exception of like Legion. It was so good. I stayed sub for pretty much that entire expansion and got really back into the game. But that's it. That's the exception, not the rule. And I started feeling that way for the first time ever for Final Fantasy XIV. I'm like, oh, okay, we're having a good time playing some retro Final Fantasies. I'm enjoying the story over there. Maybe I'm just a raider in 14, and I'll perk back up when there is actual story to experience, not just tidbits about the same teased war against the Magi that they've been doing since Heaven's Ward. And, you know, and that's okay. It's totally okay if that's it. It's not special anymore. It's not magical. This team they're just developers like anyone else. And then this live letter comes, and they literally announced something that I had completely 100% given up hope on, which
hats.
Is I don't play a Viera and I don't play a Rothgar. What's even hard about putting hats on Rothgar? They have a normal fucking shaped head.
They take the ear slots in the code. The head slot is the ears in the code.
Oh.
So they had to put an extra.
Their ears aren't even that big.
No, I know.
That's weird. Anyway, Kyle, what's the number one thing in Final Fantasy XIV you would say I have been the most outwardly dismissive of?
Variant dungeons.
No, actually. No, because I've technically, I think, spent more time with that than the actual answer to this.
All right, what is it?
It's PvP, motherfucker.
Oh, PvP, yes, PvP. Yeah, PvP. There's a whole game in there. Did you know you have completely different abilities? It's a completely different game.
Yes, which I still hate and think is bad design.
It has different snapshotting and delivery time on your abilities.
Also hate and think it's a bad decision. I think, I still believe all of that. I don't want to talk about that. I want to compliment them about PvP, Kyle. So stop bringing up all of the things that are total crutches because they don't want to try harder.
I'm just saying it's fun. You get fun abilities.
It's not. It's not. However, Crystal Conflict is actually kind of fun.
Oh, let's go! Are we having fun? Is this fun yet? Is it fun? I gotta go pee.
But you can't play it with a friend, so I don't care. Most PvP has always been a social activity, but PvP in MMOs have always been a very, very social activity for me. It's fun to get on comms and go own people with your MMO prowess, which is also part of the reason I don't like it as much in 14, because all of my game knowledge doesn't translate.
And your gear doesn't matter.
It's not the same game.
It's a wild fallacy of MMOs because it's the same. It's one of the problems I'm having with Occult Crescent is there's no gear in there for me for what I'm currently doing in Savage.
Yeah, gaining power in there doesn't translate to power anywhere except for the weapon will.
Yeah, that'll eventually be this someday down the road.
Yes. So you should, if you care, you should keep up with it now because it'll.
Which
take longer to keep up with.
Which is interesting, but that's kind of one of the difficulties with PvP in Final Fantasy XIV. Coming at it from like a MOBA, I'm going to play a single drop game kind of perspective, I think it's a lot of fun. I really like the way a samurai is designed. There are other jobs I've tried where I'm like, I do not like this design at all in PvP.
Yeah, I really like Summoner in PvP.
Yeah.
And for a while, it was just the only thing I had. And then when I had other things and I went and tried them, I was like, oh, Summoner is actually kind of like, what a fun little tool. If I think of it as a completely different game, I can kind of get into it.
But that divide, because there is that, I need to think of a better phrase. All I can think of is climax. There is a, but you build up, you know? You get gear in the raid, and maybe it's not.
Oh, I got to bet you're edging is the word you're looking for.
Yes, edging. You get gear in the raid, and you go, maybe this isn't my best, but you know what? I'm going to go own somebody in PvP this weekend with this tool.
Yeah.
And that's part of the exchange of more classic gear-oriented PvP. And there's also the problems that exist, like getting completely WTF owned because someone has the PvP gear with the PvP stats that you'll never achieve because you're not focused in that environment. And lo and behold, you get to have zero fun.
Yes.
Double-edged sword.
Yeah. But my point being, it's something I don't think I could have been more dismissive of it. Haven't really enjoyed it. Crystalline Conflict did make me perk up, maybe raise an eyebrow, go, hey, there's something here. But the fact that I couldn't play it with a friend was just a non-starter for me. I already had all these other things going on or working against PvP because of my personal preferences that was just like, all right, I'm out. Don't care. I got enough to worry about in this game. I'm out of here. And so I had completely given up hope because people told me to. And I believed them. So many people were just like, stop complaining, Garrett, because they never change anything anyway. So you're affecting no change and we're just listening to you whine. I'm like, all right, cool.
You tried your best. And you failed miserably. The lesson is, never try.
I think that's unhealthy for a game that has lived as long of a life as Final Fantasy XIV has, but sure, I will move on.
It's also fun to talk about what you want in a game.
It is, and something I've always wanted is duos. And so, yeah, I've been in this moment where I'm just like, my issues with Dawntrail are definitely not the popular issues with Dawntrail, but I've reached a point where I'm like, yeah, this expansion is just kind of like okay. You know, it's nothing special. It's still, I would put it as better than Realm Reborn, which is really all I wanted from it, but it's not the best. And I don't think the team has gone out of their way to work to make it the best. And then they went and did this. They like completely redeemed themselves, surprised me. The magic is real. Like, this is not a bit. I was just like, shit, okay. Like, the beginning of that live letter, as they're talking about like all of the feedback, and pretty much all of the feedback was not positive feedback. It was things that players were citing as issues. They responded to a lot of it directly. They had actual responses and actual steps and actions taken to improve systems in the game based on that feedback. And I respect the shit out of that. And I said at the beginning of this, I'm not used to players of MMO not having hope. I'm also not used to the makers of the MMO doing something based on player feedback. They say they do, but they don't really, usually.
Oh yeah, the live letter's insane. Coming from other games, that apology is completely unnecessary, but good for them. Own it, I guess. Minor bugs in any other game, but I understand how words could kill everybody in a raid environment in Fork Tower and why that would be frustrating.
Words?
Like the abilities not being the right name and then getting wiped because the boss isn't properly localized to your explosion.
Names, ability names.
Yeah.
It's just,
but the servers worked as a more casual player in most things. I mean, yeah, we're savaging extremely casually at the time of recording this. We haven't beaten M8S.
No. Although I'm really hoping tomorrow at the time of recording this that we will. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it really. I wasn't like ready to like pour gasoline on the game and set it on fire and be like, I'm done, I'm out. Final Fantasy XIV is dead. I wasn't at that point at all, but it was just like, I'm here to raid.
Apathy.
I've been there before with MMOs. You okay?
Oh, yeah, I just noticed.
Well, it's gonna be there the whole time.
Got a little goo on my shoulder.
Goo, shoulder goo.
A little goo, a little grab, a little baby grab.
A little baby grab. Yeah. So
I think we will look back on Dawntrail as the quality of life expansion, and these have happened in every single MMO and every single game I've been a part of. Sometimes a PvP oriented game season will be completely dull because they're working on background stuff. We have the whiteboard coming out. We have all these things that we can expect. We have Savage. Minor gripe, like, I wish I had been live during Pandemonium because that's tied to the lore and the story of the world. So, you know, Savage, it's not supplying that ooh-ah factor when it comes to interacting with the game, but it is fun.
Well, that's just the raid.
Yeah.
The raid is the story. The Savage has nothing to do with the lore.
I know.
And I think Arcadian actually is a personal high point for me in continuing to play with the story and the lore of Dawntrail. I really enjoy it. I made a whole video about it. Nobody watched it, but I really enjoy it. I really like that story. It's the first time I've been moved to like make my own thing.
What I think is really important is there was a sort of canned statement made about 6 months ago. Look forward to surprises. And then when we were at Media Tour, there will be surprises this expansion. And so far we haven't seen those.
Nope.
And so far our rule set for what is doable in this game has been very strict. And while hats are silly and PvP is a completely different game, that does break our known conception of what the game is going to do in future patches.
Yeah. It makes them seem a little more flexible, a little more light on their feet, able to tackle different things. It's still not massive. Like they didn't come out and announce next expansion, the field operation will come out in the 0.1 patch, which is something I think should happen. That's probably a bigger course correct. I don't know how difficult it is. Yoshi P talked about costs, got everyone in a hizzy. I'm not going to focus on that right now. The important part of that is, though, he followed up with, I know that doesn't matter for players. And you know what doesn't matter for me? How difficult it is to release things in different order. Doesn't matter for me.
He's right.
I am a consumer of your game. I, as a consumer, suggest you release things in a different order.
I think I'm a pretty smart consumer. But yeah, wave your magic wand with the money you're provided.
At the time of recording this, it has been damn near a full year since Dawntrail released. And waiting almost 365 days for your endgame zone, that's insane. I got nothing. I can't defend it. It's insane. I think it's bad, and they should do something about it. I don't know how to effectively segue to this, but something I wanted to talk to you about that illustrates the importance of hope and maybe the weight of crushing despair and giving up on your game is, what are some things from games past that you completely gave up hope on? Because I have a few.
Oh, interesting. Give me an example.
Hearthstone. Not an MMO, but a still running to this day game.
Very much a live service game.
Apparently still printing money for Blizzard Entertainment. Probably not as much money as it did 10 years ago, but I bet it still makes a good buck. I think I was primarily making Hearthstone content because I was waiting for their limited format to get good. And I've thought about this a bit since I quit doing The Angry Chicken, which was a podcast I did covering Hearthstone for a very long time. 9 years? Almost 10 years I did that show.
It was a long time, yeah.
It's a very long time. And yeah, the more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I was just waiting for Limited to be good because Limited is my favorite way to play Magic the Gathering. And all Hearthstone has is Arena. And I've always kind of thought that Arena sucked. It was a bit of a phoned-in way to do Limited. And it got a big update recently. Players seem happy, but it's still more or less Arena. I just never got it. There was a point about 9 years in where I was just like, I think I'm done with this game. I think I'm over it. I don't think they're ever going to give me what I want, so I'm out. And to me, getting duos in 14 is damn near on the level of had Hearthstone announced, hey, we're going to do a sealed version of Hearthstone. We're going to do an actual drafting version of Hearthstone. Two things that exist in Magic that I really enjoy, and they never even attempted in Hearthstone.
I'm trying to think of a game that I've had that with.
Is there anything in Heroes of the Storm you always were just like, they would just do this? Duos in PvP is extremely specific and laser focused. In Heroes of the Storm, it was, boy, I just wish they would delete Junkrat. And I gave up hope that they would ever delete or rein in Junkrat.
I just wanted a Zerg versus Terran map where the minions were Zerg on one side and the Terrans were on the other.
I actually shared that one with you, and that was another thing I gave up hope on.
Yeah, I just you merge your worlds and do the thing that you gave Overwatch someday.
Heroes of the Storm, the pitch was, here's every intellectual property, every universe that exists within Blizzard Entertainment, and we're going to take our action figure collection and just smash them together. but they never did that with their battlegrounds. They never had Warsong Gulch bleeding into Port Alexander from StarCraft 2. Get your boats ready. That's the kind of stuff. Yeah, like that was always really weird to me. That one wasn't so bad that I don't think it played any role in me falling out of love with Heroes. In fact, I never really did fall out of love with Heroes. It just
I still play it.
It's every once in a while, not like I did back in the day, but
now we play a lot of Night Rain as our
Night Rain has taken
game.
over our hot slot.
Hot slots.
Hot. Welcome to Vegas.
You can look at this channel and see my gripes on unpredictable gearing in World of Warcraft, and that's something that I think
unpredictable gearing?
Yeah, wild, crazy portals have opened all over the world, and it has better gear than the raids you've been running.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
World quests having gear that's better than what you got in the raid that you're currently working through.
Did that ever happen?
Yeah, it happened a lot.
I mean, the world boss had a chance to drop like one piece of raid gear, and I think it was equal. What always bothered me was like, I don't like the vault in WoW, having this almost like weekly battle pass that like you just go do things and there'll be a piece of gear here that is also kind of a gotcha because you don't have that much control over what it is. Like maybe it'll be something you already have, or maybe it'll be worse than a piece you already have. And then, we've had, how many talks have we had about mythic dungeons just being strange, upsetting the gearing apple cart of World of Warcraft in a way that makes it feel more like Diablo and less like World of Warcraft. All that stuff's weird. All that stuff is strange.
But I think the closest comparison to what you're saying is things that you constantly are told can't be done.
Mm-hmm.
Like duos in most ranked formats, which they're not doing. They're not letting it into ranked, which is a good idea for win trading and all that kind of weirdness, and 5 stacks and populations and MMR. But your for fun mode, your unranked play, should have some for fun opportunities. And being told no, not very fun.
No, it isn't.
In this case, we thought we weren't being listened to. We thought it was falling on deaf ears. And now I'm kind of like, well, now I'm kind of perking up because I see every single like patch, every little minor patch. There's some PvP stuff in there. I'm like, hold on. Who's the PvP guy? Who's the PvP people? Are they cool?
Well, there's that one server that we joined so that we could do the thing I always forget the name of that's kind of MOBA-like. It's got the 3 lanes and some people jump in. Front line. I really like front lines.
Rival wings.
Rival wings.
Rival wings. Rival wings.
Front lines is a hot mess.
Yes, hot mess.
Rival wings, a hot mess, positive.
Yes.
Complimentary.
Fun chaos.
Actually, that's the most I've ever enjoyed PvP in 14. However, you really need to get working on their cross-server tech because queuing into that is, it's a nightmare.
Weird, yeah. The barrier to entry.
It's an absolute nightmare. But yeah, it's right. This is the effect it's having on me now. Now I'm like, no, I feel emboldened. I should ask for more things. I should suggest more suggestions. I should fold up more papers and put it in the box.
I will not be quiet.
I will not go quietly into that night.
You can't tell me it's not been done. We've seen things that haven't been done.
I will not vanish without a fight.
Gonna live on.
We're gonna survive. Today we celebrate.
This is coming out close to Independence Day.
Duos and PvP.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
The future's now.
Future is now. Wait, I thought it was August. When is 7.3 dropping?
Oh, I meant this video is coming out very close to July 4th. That's all.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. This is the kind of stuff that's important when you play a singular game for a long period of time. It's so lame, but when I studied online marketing, we spent like a whole semester on the importance of surprise and delight, which is like a marketing thing. If you have any sort of business with a community that gives a crap, it is important to, at times, surprise them and or delight them. And I would firmly mark this recent showing by the developers of Final Fantasy XIV as both surprising and pretty delightful.
Live letters have always been delightful.
They've always been delightful.
They're so cute.
They've always been delightful. This live letter also spent 20 minutes talking about chat bubbles, and I've never been more bored.
People care, And I think they've
I
worked.
hear that they're coming,
They
but
worked
that's
hard.
all I need to know.
You know,
all
they've
I need
worked
to know is
hard
they're
on it.
coming.
Right there on the fridge. Well done, chat
You
bubbles.
do blogs, do a Q&A for all of the nitty gritty for the
proud.
the weirdos that are worried you're going to be able to see it through walls.
They're proud of that. I'm concerned about that.
Yeah, you're a weirdo. I'm a
Yeah.
weirdo too, but we're different types of weirdos.
Hope is back on the table.
Hope is. Wait.